You're being filmed by that camera?
Yeah, but where's the hole I'm looking at? Oh, right into the middle of the lens.
Gigantic lens. Yeah, look into the gigantic lens. All right. So Kellymomma, this is a long-awaited, highly anticipated episode, and so we want to dive right into it. And our subscribers want to ask you, for my accident, what did you do for a living?
Right before your accident, or during your accident, I was with Brighton. I would travel the whole territory, and my territory was Virginia. And I, at one point, had parts of West Virginia and parts of North Carolina. But Virginia was my territory at this time. And I would help mom and pop store owners make more money.
And she was really good at it, by the way.
Well, I loved my job, and I loved my customers.
And I loved when she would pull up the national charts and say, oh, I'm about to get into second, and then, oh, I'm about to get to first. And
right.
At some point, she was #1 in the nation.
Yeah, it was fun to be on the leaderboard. And when I would pull up the results for the leaderboard that week, my boys would be jumping off of ottomans and the couches if I was in the top 10 or whatever. It was quite fun.
So working at Brighton, was that what you were doing when you heard about Cole's accident?
Mm-hmm.
Where exactly were you when the accident happened? I
was on my way back from Virginia Beach. A customer wanted me to come and do an early morning training seminar with them. So I was there and I gave an educational seminar to the staff. And I was hustling back home on a Friday afternoon. I believe it was Friday, because Cole had just gotten his driver's license the day before. Mm-hmm. And he was excited to go out on the town independently, and I was excited for him to have that adventure. I think it was about 3:15 in the afternoon when I got a phone call, and I make a practice of not answering my phone when I'm driving. You all would say I never answer my phone.
Just driving, eating, anything really.
Texting. Anyway, there was something nagging at me that said I needed to answer that phone even though it was a number I did not recognize. I thought, maybe I should, and I was sitting in traffic in Newport News. I reached down and I picked up the phone, and it was one of Cole's friends.
That's pretty hard news to break to someone. How did he deliver that to you over the phone?
Well, he was very cool and sort of ambiguous. Mm-hmm. So when he was describing the situation, he said, Mrs. Sidner, Cole has hurt himself. We're at the river. Once you're at the river? He said, yeah. And he said, and he is hurt. And I said, well, what is going on? And he said, well, he has a gash on his forehead. And it's bleeding pretty bad, but we have pressure on it. And I said, well, have you called the paramedics? And he said, yes. And he says, but I'm not even sure the paramedics are going to take him, to the hospital or anything like that. We'll have to wait and see when they get here what they say. And I said, all right, let me call you right back. I hung up the phone. I thought about it for a minute, and I called him right back. And I said, Will, are you with Cole now? And he said, yes. And I said, can he move his arms or his legs? And he said, no, not really. I said, okay, I will see you at MCV. And he said, well, I'm not even sure if the paramedics are going to take him to MCV. And I said, Will, I will see you at MCV.
Because you had a feeling?
I knew instantly. I had a gut feeling all day that day anyway, but I knew at that point it was serious. And I said, is he awake? And he said, yes, he's awake. And all he keeps saying to me is, please tell my mom I love her. Please tell my mom I love her. Please tell my mom I love her. And I said, Will, you just tell him that his mom loves him, and I'll see you at MCV. Mm-hmm. And I got to MCV in about, 20 minutes from Newport News, which is normally an hour or so drive. The speedometer was pegged to the floor, and my foot was smashed to the floor, and I went off onto the shoulder of the road around people if they were stopped. There happened to be a car that was on fire on the right-hand side of the road, and people were slowing down for that, but I did not slow down. I kept thinking, please let an emergency worker see me screaming down the road. Please pull me over, throw me in the car, and take me to MCV. I was praying that I would get pulled, and there was no one. And so I drove like that, like crazy, straight to the hospital. Yeah. I even stopped an ambulance on the road and asked the ambulance if they had my child in the car. And they said, no, ma'am, we don't, and you need to step aside.
Right.
And I was like, what? Anyway.
So you said you got the speculation that you knew Cole was paralyzed. So after you realized that, or after you actually learned he was paralyzed, how did you prepare yourself?
Well, the first thing I did before I learned that he was paralyzed, even though I knew he was paralyzed, is I called my work while I was flying down the road. And I said, I will not be calling in this afternoon. And I'm on my way to MCV. My child is paralyzed. And they said, what? Kelly, you can't say that. How do you know that? And I said, I just know. And they said, but you're not even there yet. And I said, because I know. And I said, so I probably will not be calling in tonight, and I'm not sure when you'll hear from me again. And they didn't. I was done. At 3:10, I effectively retired.
So do you feel like you were prepared when you walked into the ICU room the first time and saw the scene and all that?
Well, I didn't know what to expect because I just knew you might be paralyzed, but I didn't know to what extent. And there's always that piece of you in the back or something in the back of you that just keeps hoping and praying and hoping and praying. I think the hardest, weirdest part for me was when I was sitting in the waiting room by myself at the children's emergency room area, and there were no children there. There was no one in that room but me and the receptionist at the table, which was odd on a Friday afternoon, I thought. I was just sitting there, and eventually 2 clergymen walked in, fully dressed, you know, in their robes and their collars. And they said, are you Mrs. Sidner? And I thought, no, I'm not. That's not me. You got the wrong person. And they said, and so I said, yes. And they said, well, we need to sit down and talk to you. And I said, why are you here? Why are you talking to me? Why are you talking to me? Because I'm thinking in movies, what happens when you see the priest walk in? That's it. I thought they were prepared to deliver the news. And so I don't know at that point what they said, because in my mind was, and all I heard was wah, 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 like the Peanuts thing. And all I kept saying was the verse, my help comes from the Lord. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord. And I repeated that over and over, no, in my head, while I stared at them like. But I was in my own scripture. I listened to a word, and then I immediately walked over to the receptionist and said, is that protocol? Is that what you do? Is send pre-sin? I mean, that was so scary for me. And they did tell me that you were not dead, but that they were working on you and I couldn't go back to see you just yet. When the doctor finally came in and said, they're ready to talk to you now, can you step into the conference room? I about came unglued. Because when my mom passed from her brain aneurysm, they told us by having the family come back to the conference room.
I remember that.
I just looked at Quint and I said, this is not going to be good. It is not going to be good. Quint, it is not going to be good. I don't know why I kept repeating that, but I was trying to prepare him. Maybe part of me, I was trying to prepare me too, but mostly I was just saying, gird yourself, boy. This is not going to go well.
After they came in and y'all had that discussion and you figured out what was going on and they helped you understand, how long did it take you to sort of overcome that shock mode and go into Mama Bear, time to protect my kid mode?
All right. What I remember of that day, when the doctor delivered the news to me, your friends were all there as well as Quint. And all I remember at that point was dropping to my knees on the floor and screaming. And I was wailing, screaming, wailing. And then I thought to myself, I just did that in front of all these young boys who are terrified. And I thought, oh, that is never going to happen again. I'm done with that, because it wasn't helpful. It didn't move things forward. And I thought, oh, I was weak. And I'm not going to be weak again, because that's not helpful. So I think at that point, I started making the turn to, you know, I've got to be strong. I got to be strong. Mama Bear mode, whatever you want to call it. I gave myself that initial reaction, and then I said, we're done with that. Because everyone was going to have that. And I knew they were going to have it. And I had to be prepared for it. And I had to be strong for them. Because I don't think anyone in that room at that moment knew what to do with me. They didn't. And they couldn't handle what happened.
Do you believe God has a larger plan for Cole in his injury?
Not so quick on that answer.
Well, because it becomes two-sided. And I say that because if God has a plan for Cole, was God's plan for Cole to jump off the rock, strike his head, split it wide open, nearly drown to death, and come out quadriplegic? Was that his plan? Did he push Cole off that rock? If I believed that, I would hate God forever. Wouldn't you? So, in that vein, I look for the light. And I said, okay, Cole, my invincible little Superman boy, made a decision out of his own free will to jump off that rock, knowing it was wrong. I don't know, he didn't think it was wrong, but he had been told multiple times, don't dive into unknown waters. He knew that. That was a rule. And he did it anyway. And he paid a terrific price for that mistake. But I believe he chose that. I don't believe God pushed him off that rock. And I told him so in the hospital. But at the same time, I look at all the miracles that happened after he made that really crummy decision. In the fact that his friends saw it immediately and had the wherewithal, the guts, and the knowledge to rescue him. That was just like divinely placed. The fact that he was moments away from our level 1 trauma hospital and the most excellent neurosurgeons on the East Coast. That's miraculous. The fact that he has the function that he has, when I've seen the x-rays and the MRIs, and I've dove through those MRIs down his spinal cord, and there's no light in there. It's crushed, it's mangled. And the fact that he has the function that he has after what I've seen, that's a freaking miracle. So is there a plan? Probably. If there isn't, it would be a wasted opportunity for him not to do something glorious with his life. And that's basically what I've told him all along. You may never walk, but you'll certainly fly. As long as you're on my team. No, I'm just kidding.
That's great. It's kind of shown through the whole interview, the answer to this question, but I'll let you put it into words how you may. What advice can you give us for staying positive through life's rough days and weeks?
I'm sorry. Ask the question again.
Did you just totally zone out?
I did.
Oh
I just went somewhere. I don't even know where I went. I don't remember.
Jeez, the zoning out.
Oh my God, my face is hot.
All right.
Okay. Wait. It is a rainy day.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
You want me to do it? The clouds are dark and gray. That's my advice. But I think I'll smile anyway.
This is great. This is riveting material.
Go ahead, ask me again. What was it?
The question was,
yes.
What advice can you give us for staying positive through life's roughest days and weeks?
Okay, there are two things that make life a lot easier to get through no matter what is happening in your day. Breathing. Big cleansing breaths are transformative. Number one. And number two, smile. Shake it till you make it. Because you can. And everything you want to do, there's a way. You may not be able to achieve it the way you'd want to. Cole, I'm sure, would love to walk, but he can get wherever he needs to go with the right attitude and the willpower to just forge his way through. So Even if things seem impossible, there are other ways to achieve it other than the traditional way of getting things done. So that's my advice. Smile and fake your way through it and breathe. Breathe.
Great advice.
Great advice. Thank you, Mama Kelly, for coming on and answering the subscribers' questions. We appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. What do you tell them?
Oh, wait. Let me think. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and stay positive.
Yay! You want to smack the lens?
Oh.
Cover it up?